he's looking at the computer, he's looking at everything, and that whistle would blow and I would have to tread water because it meant that there was a tanker ship coming. And if I was going to keep the pace I was going, and I actually, you actually had to sign a release saying, yes, I, Karen Drucker, am saying it's okay if a ship comes and kills me, it's fine, here you go. But you had to know that that ship needed a mile out. It couldn't see me in the water and go, eh. So that's why this idea of anywhere you want to go, you have to have patience and be gentle and have that idea of where you're going. But know that you'll get there. But it's turning that tanker ship. All right, so I'm ready. So here we go. Who's this little sweet person over here? Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, I think so, or whatever.
Yeah, Teresa. Yeah.
Teresa, hi. Thank you, Alan. Okay.
Hi.
Scott. Okay, Teresa, how are you doing?
This little sweet person in me. Thanks for filling in, Karen. I was on this with Alan last week for the first time ever. My friend Lois just told me about this, and I had one of his books from, I don't know, 25 years ago. Anyway, so I worked out something with him, and I wanted to share what's been happening since, and then I have a question. So for the first time in my life, and I'm 63,
Yay, 63.
Yay, it's the best.
It is.
I got settled about a loving partner, like having one or not in my life. So I'm like, do I, don't I? Anyway, and so I'm here to tell you that I am willing, open, and ready to have a loving partner who is the perfect man for me.
And I affirm that, and so it is. Yes.
Thank you. So here's my question, because now I've been sharing it with everybody, because now it's a done deal. And I'm surrounded by people that are very developed in their listening. So I know when I share something like this, just like in your listening, Karen, I got the declaration land someplace. But then this one person that I trust and admire and all of that stuff started asking me not to describe, but just what do you want about him? You want him to be this, you want him to be that. And the thing that was remarkable is when I was trying to create something very simple about what I want in this relationship, it started to become hard work. And I noticed that it was all up in my head. And that's where I came from, just a really simple thing about a man who is perfect for me, which also implies that it's up to God. It's up to the universe. I am not in charge. I'm in charge to be open and willing and ask, and that's it.
I agree.
So my question to you is, and I've also said, I've also heard that when you pray to be specific, because the universe wants specifics, or how does it know? And so I want your thoughts on the difference between being specific in prayer and not being, just in the example that I gave.
So I think that, this is an interesting question because it's a balancing act to me. So yes, if you just were to say, I want a car, I'm praying for a car. I just want a car. And all of a sudden this totally broken down, it runs, but you're like, you see the car that someone just gives you and you're going, oh, that's not really quite what I was thinking, but it was a car, it was delivered. And if you were to be more specific and say, well, I'm really looking for a car that's stable and a car that, maybe maybe it's this particular brand or whatever. I mean, you get a little bit more specific, but then the question is, if you get so specific, you could have the next ideal car that was just perfect for you, but it had to be red and it had to be this. And then all of a sudden you're not seeing this other one that was really great also. So to me, it's a real balancing act between, yes, getting specific, but also just being open and releasing and surrendering. I mean, it's this, that's why it's like the mystery. That's why it's the mystery. It's like there's no, I think, there's no clear cut, like, here are the rules, here's how you do it. You can't. You could say,
Well, I'm not
here's
actually
how,
asking for the rules, and I'm not asking how to do it right. And I'm not even saying that what I have said is something that I want. It, I'm ready.
yeah.
I'm
And I
willing
think
to
that
do
that's
what
part of it. I think
it-
that's part of it is you just say, I'm ready, and you can be specific to a certain amount. But my hit about it is that you just say, I'm open and I'm willing and I'm ready. And I think that when you do keep going back to that practice of your heart, someone shows up and you can go, does this feel right?
Thank you.
That's it. I mean, because they could hit all the specifics that you asked for, but your heart goes, this isn't really right, even though it's what I asked for with this and this and this. So to me, it's that balancing act of what is your heart leading you towards? How is God gonna just show up in your life with this person and just being open to it? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you,
I hope I
Karen.
answered it because it's like, yeah, I go back and forth about that because I'll get specific with things. One of my favorite exercises to do that I've done with everything in my life is I do an act as if letter. I write a letter to someone saying, specifically like I've done this, and I'm not even giving it to anybody else. I'm just writing it to myself saying, dear Cindy, oh my God, let me tell you about my life, or let me tell you about this man that I just manifested. He has these qualities, he does this, he does this. And the quality that I'm feeling right now is, because that's really what we're talking about. And I know that's what Alan always comes back to. It's not about the specifics, it's about the quality. You're going to feel something with this person. And that's why, again, coming back to your heart. But when I do those act as if letters to myself, it's like I look back on them years later and go, oh my God, that's what I got.
That's great. I love that. I'll do that. So I'm acting as if I'm writing the letter to who?
To anybody, you could do it to your future
To
self.
describe my partner.
Yeah, just so I would even do it. I would even do it more like this. Imagine a month from now, this partner has come in your life. You're having a great time. Write this letter to your future self or write it to an imaginary friend as if like, oh my God, let me tell you about the life that I'm leading now with this person. Oh my God,
Okay.
I'm having more fun than I've ever known. He sees me totally. I feel seen and heard and loved. We go here, we go there. The qualities that he has I mean, this is true for anyone who's listening. This is not just about relationships. This is about your dream job. This is about your dream body. This is about everything. I mean, I know that the bottom line comes down to what's the quality you want. And so in this letter, you talk about, oh my God, I'm so happy because I'm feeling this, this, and this. So,
Great. Thank you.
all right, Teresa, thanks. I'll play at your wedding. Who's next? Candy.
Hi. Wait a minute.
Hey,
Hello. Um, Thank you for doing this. And since nobody had raised their hand, and I don't have a burning question, I'm just focusing on returning to a place of peace within as I'm being challenged with what's
really, really, you're being challenged with anything in
Oh
life right
yeah.
now? What's going on with you? What's wrong? Is there something specifically wrong? Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Um, oh good, some more people are raising their hand. Well, I was just gonna, first of all, I wanted to thank you for doing this. Thank you for the music you write. I'm pretty sure years ago that you came to our church back in the 90s because I have one of your CDs, but I'm not sure if I bought it then or at an I Can Do It conference, so I'll be honest. But it seems to me I've heard you share your story of how you came to be where you were then, and now it's even come farther. So I was just jumping out there because it's such an interesting and lovely journey. And so that's why I was throwing it out there. But yeah, there are other people.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share some of that. Well, and one thing, Candace, so Alan turned me on to this quote, this line from A Course in Miracles. I did a Course in Miracles workshop with him in December. And I said, Alan, just, give me like 10 of your favorite quotes from, or lesson plans from Course in Miracles. And the one that just jumped out at me was, I could see peace instead of this. And, if I could share that one with you, and I turn it into a chant that just simply says, I could see peace instead of this. I could see peace instead of this. I could see peace instead of this. And just sing that line over and over to yourself. I mean, I made it into a full song, but just, I think right now to deal with what we're all going through. And again, coming back to that heart thing, it's like, just to be able to every single morning say, in the craziness of what's going on, what is it that my heart needs today? And truly, it could be that there are days that you just go, I can't deal. I just can't deal. I'm going to go eat bonbons and, watch TV, whatever it is. And I think it's really important that we give ourselves permission, really important that we give ourselves permission right now to feel and do or not do whatever is alive in you to do, to take care of yourself. So I'd like to just address that because, good Lord, I'm certainly going through it.
Yeah.
But just, the one thing I'll just say about my little story is that years ago, I wrote a book called Let Go of the Shore. And it was about this process of that. In order to go to the next step, when I mentioned before the zigzag concept, in order to go to the next step, you have to be willing to let go of one thing to move into the next. And that title came from a song I wrote called Let Go of the Shore, let go of the shore, and let the water carry me, let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Well, who wants to float into the frickin' mystery? It's like, just, but that's what we have to do. And that's why this is such a hard time, because we are in the mystery, aren't we?
Yes.
And so, my story was just really, going from being a blues singer to, getting into doing church stuff to doing, the weddings and the party, like all these different steps that I did. But each one of those, when I got there, when I was making a living, it was like, okay, I've got this, I'm going to do this. But then, as I was talking about before, that discontent would start to come up. And it'd be like, why am I discontented? What, I was fine a few weeks ago. What's happening? But I would start to have those feelings in my stomach of discontent. And that feeling of discontent, to me, if there's anything I can say today to all of you who might be looking at certain aspects in your life, discontent is really probably the best way that spirit gets your attention, to say that there's something more, that there's something more wanting to be birthed. And so that discontent led me from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And so now I find, when I go into discontent, it's like, oh, how interesting. What is this about? As opposed to shoving it down like beach balls in the water, like, oh my God, I don't want the discontent to come up. Now I just, and again, it's the mystery. It's painful sometimes. You don't want to have that icky discontent feeling, but now I look at it like, well, how interesting. What next step is spirit leading me to that I can't see right now? So I have a great quote from Thomas Edison, who said, restlessness and discontent are the first necessities of progress. Isn't that great?
It is.
Restlessness and discontent are the first necessities of progress. So anyway.
Write that down. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Candace. Nice to see you.
Oh, one other thing too, I like, I am so blessed. Now that's on the CD I have. And when you're talking about, I can have peace instead of this.
Yeah.
I love the I am so blessed.
Yes,
that could be, and that during at church.
And that
That's
could
another.
be, that could be your spiritual practice right now. When you find yourself getting into the worry or the anxiousness or the what's going on in the world, just having a gratitude practice of every day, just like, I am so blessed. So put that song on and just sing it. I have people who write me and say, if I just sing that every morning, I can deal. So
Good to go. Okay, thank you very much.
thanks. All right. Scott, thank you so much for doing this. Okay, whoever you want to.
So I don't know who was next, but Arden, you want to go next?
Yeah.
Can you?
Hi.
Hey, Arden, how are you?
Hi, Karen. Oh, I love your music. Hey, I have a dilemma. I've been trying to sort through for like a really long time around some property issues in Berkeley, California. And I've been on Alan's coaching and his LEAP program, and I'm thinking about taking his coaching in January, but anyway,
You should.
well, I'm in Berkeley, California, and I think he's going to be in Marin across the bay.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, but I mean, just everything's online. But yeah, when he does his retreats, yeah.
Well, will his retreat be live in January in Northern California?
I'm not sure, but I
Not
think
sure.
that, I mean, we talked at some point he might be doing some stuff at yeah. I'm not sure, but you should do his coaching thing anyway. He's great.
Yeah, well, he certainly has the kind of attitude that I really like. So so I'm a person who's been studying metaphysics for many decades, like 40 years maybe. And I'm on a kind of like alchemical, I think of myself as an alchemist in the lab, trying to learn how to do manifestation. My big issue is I want to manifest, and I'm trying to manifest things that are really problematic for me, which is several $1 million in refinancing a property that I've had to put on the market to sell.
So can I stop you right there for 1 second?
Yeah.
What is the first line that you just said? I have a real problem with that, with this, like it's already being set up that it's a real problem.
Well, the thing that I'm also seeing is that I own the building, which I don't have the money to own it yet, but I mean, it's like here's the dilemma I'm trying to get clear on with your guidance. There's the quantum field and consciousness, which I am learning all the time how to embed the correct information, the correct thinking, the outcome I want. And yet, there's the physical reality that seems so much more solid than my consciousness. But I do really believe, based in science and studies, that consciousness is more real, even though, the outcomes is in the physical world I'm looking at. But the source of what the physical world is through my consciousness, which is what I keep working on. So
can I ask you a question? Are you very much of a cerebral person? Do you live kind of more in your head?
no, I don't think so. I do a lot of embodied practices,
Okay.
not like yoga, but breath work and somatic experiencing
Okay.
and meditations.
Yeah.
I used to be a dancer.
Great.
So I don't know if I made my question clear.
How do you make it more clear for me?
Okay, yeah, I need to make it more clear for me too. I'm trying to learn how to get my consciousness to create physical reality, the physical reality that I need and want.
Well, okay, so you're talking about manifesting. You're talking about you want to manifest. Boy, that's, it's kind of like what we were talking about before, with the person who was wanting to manifest her man. It's like, I think that there's just this balance of saying, here's all the physical stuff, here's all the facts of, here's this building in Berkeley, and I can't do it. I mean, first of all, the main thing that I always think is important is watch your words, be a real stickler with what you're saying. I think it's so interesting how we can be talking about something and we're not even aware that we're saying these little teeny things of using negatives in there, like something's a problem, or this is really hard, Or, I mean, I love the concept of we will put on the gas and put on the brake at the same time. So in other words, you're saying, I want this, but there's some other part of you that will be saying these words that are putting the brake on, saying, you know, see, it's like this push pull of like, what, you know, what, I always look at things, let me put it this way, in the most simplistic way to answer your question, I feel like there's a magic genie that is up there. I mean, this is so simplistic how I'm going to answer this, but just see if you can get anything from it. This is how I live my life. I believe there's this magic genie, you know, if I want to call it God, spirit, you know, my board of directors, whatever you want to say. But I believe that there's this magic genie that's just sitting there, just kind of smoking a cigar, you know, waiting for me to say something. And as soon as I say something, I mean, she is totally attuned to every single sentence I'm saying during the day. Just kind of waiting, you know, doing her nails, just hanging out. And as soon as I say something, she just like pops to attention. And everything that she says is, your wish is my command. Your wish is my
Right.
command. So anything I say, if I say, oh God, you know, just even getting online, oh my God, this is just so scary to me. And is everything going to work? And oh, I don't do this very well. Yes, Master, I'll make sure that there's some kind of a screw up so that you're correct. And so, you know, and I work with people who want to sing. I work with in creativity a lot with people learning how to write your own chant or whatever. It's amazing to me when people will say something that what will come out, I call these asides because they're just these little fast things that come out of the side of their mouth like, oh, well, you know, I was told I can't really sing, but I'm willing to be in this class, or, oh, I can't really do this. And they'll say it, but it's like that becomes this neural pathway in their mind that they can't sing or they are not creative. And so to be able to start a new path, you have to start to just listen to the simple things you say that could be completely the gas and the brake concept. And it could be that things are your genie is going, yes, I'm willing to make this manifest for you, but you keep saying, you know, I've got to learn more, it's hard, or, you know, whatever. So to really answer your question, it seems like it's a really big thing that you're looking at with this. I mean, I don't even know how to answer it for you. I think that the simplistic way that I would say is just to say, what feels like the next step right here, right now in this moment? What is my heart saying?
Well, and you know, and I'm very much a disciplined person with my thoughts and words. I like for years and years, I've been practicing cleaning up my act on those levels. But this thing about the heart, which is, it's really part of my current studies, you know, the brain, brain IQ, the heart IQ, the gut IQ, and coherence, like through the whole system and all the chakras and stuff like that. But I don't have a real clear feeling about my heart. I really, when you say listen to your heart, and I'm going, during earlier when you were talking, I'm going, I don't get it. I mean, I actually don't understand what that means. And
So,
you know,
okay, thanks. Thank you
so
so much for
you
saying
could
that.
help me. Yeah, I
That's
would like
great.
to know what that means for you.
I think what I'm talking about is dropping. I'm really glad you said that, because I wonder if there are a lot of people that say that and no one said that to me before. So I think that's great. To me, listening to your heart means you're actually listening to your soul. You're listening to that voice, that you're listening to God, whatever God is to you, whether it's a voice, whether it's a feeling, whether it's just a little intuitive tap, that you're dropping into this place of a deeper knowing that is different than your mind that has all of the answers and has all of the facts and the figures. It's bypassing, it's, well, and as much as, you know, when you said quantum physics and all that stuff, like you know, that's beyond me. I haven't really, I mean, I've done some of that work, but not that much. But maybe that's what we're talking about. It's dropping into that deeper place of that it has nothing to do with time and space and facts and figures, and what the reality is, that there's another reality that you can drop into that will be true for you. And you are the only one who will know that. You know, if someone else could come to you and go, oh, here, you know, here's what you should do. I've been thinking about it. Here are new facts and figures. But it's the same thing with what she was talking about with a man. She could meet some man who has everything, has the perfect job, has the perfect look, has everything. But on some level, she could be with him and go, wow, I don't know why, but it's just not feeling right. And again, it's like it fit all the criteria. So it could be the same thing here with what you're talking about with this issue, that maybe manifestation really can come to you more when you drop into that place. And maybe what it is it's the mystery. It's like dropping into a place that maybe you haven't been to. Even with all of your years and years of study, maybe you are coming to a new place of dropping down even to another notch.
I think so. Yeah, I'm studying a bunch of different teachers, and they're all saying the same thing. And by the way, you just said it again too, which is it's getting out of the beta brain waves, prefrontal cortex and
Yeah.
cortex, dropping into a stillness in the body, getting really tuned into what other underlying knowledge is and wisdom.
That's exactly what I'm trying to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily an emotion, because like when you talk about being in the heart, I'm going, well, is that joy? Is that happiness? Or is that? But what you really talking about is intuition from a deeper core level from within the body.
And everyone's going to have it in a different way. It could be the
Yeah,
slightest little twinge that you get, or someone could actually hear a voice, or it could be, everyone will get this in a different way. But maybe that's what is up for you next, is to see what is the way that you're going to be able to hear it or feel it or whatever that is.
I
How
think
that helps.
It totally does. And I wonder if you wouldn't mind putting in if you would be kind enough to put in the chat box how people can reach you for your classes or your consultations or anything.
Great.
Because I would like to talk with you again.
Great. Well, thank you, Arden. That was great. Yeah, it's just KarenDrucker.com is my website. So just
Okay.
KarenDrucker.com. All right, thank you. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Arden. Okay, do we have another hand up? Oh, some of you people have been so patient. Sorry about that. Okay, who's next?
It looks like Mary Jo Foley.
Okay, Mary Jo. There you are. Can you unmute yourself, Mary Jo?
Yes, sorry. I did the video, but okay. Anyways, thank you for being here today for Alan. I actually first heard about you. I go to Unity in Buffalo, New York. So
Oh, yeah.
I love your music.
Thank you.
All right, my question. How do you get from, I've had ideas to do certain things career-wise, but feeling stuck in going with them. And how do you start moving in that direction?
Great question. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Because I get this emotion comes in me. It's like, I don't know, fear or something.
Oh, really? Fear? You're probably the only person who's ever felt that. Because fear is just like, once you're going towards something new, you just go for it. Yeah, fear. Fear is a pretty big one. When you're talking about this, are you talking about a particular job, going from one thing to another, or what?
No, it's definitely just would have to do with me as far as me starting it. It's dependent on me.
Okay.
So
Right.
Yeah.
So fear, the first part of that is, here's a reframe. When you feel fear, it actually is that aliveness in you.
Yeah.
It's like I always talk about my inner critic in all
Yeah.
the work I do. And, when your inner critic isn't talking to you, you probably aren't stretching. So when your inner critic is actually, isn't that a reframe? Because like your inner critic is just, it's kind of like, when I was talking about the genie, it's like same thing. My inner critic, her name is Zelda. If Zelda is if she's sitting at Starbucks and, having a cup of coffee and reading people, and I'm not utilizing her, she just keeps hanging out. But as soon as I feel that discontent, as soon as I get a little bit clearer on, okay, I'm scared, but I'm starting to get a glimmer of where I want to go, all of a sudden she just stands at attention. It's like time to get to work. Let me tell you every reason why you shouldn't do this. because
Yeah.
you're
Like,
too old and you're not good enough. And, who do you think
who
you
do you think you
are?
are? Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you have that, it's actually showing you are starting to move.
Yeah, I like that idea of, yeah, that being a sign of progress. And then also, I can almost go in my mind and think, once I do start doing it, there'll be another voice saying, why didn't I do this sooner?
Oh,
Why?
well, it's the same,
All of
it's
that.
the same inner critic stuff. So here's your
Yeah.
exercise. Here's your exercise. Mary
Okay.
Jo. Your
Okay.
exercise is to get a cup of tea or a little latte or whatever you need and sit down with your critic, give her a name.
I know. I love that idea of the genie.
Give the critic, the genie's
The
different. So
critic.
now the
Oh,
critic,
okay.
give the critic a name. So, whatever her name is, and just sit her down and go, I want you to just tell me everything. I want to start this new thing. Just give it to me. Just let me just write it down. And just write down all those things that she says. I mean, you're not good enough. You're too old. Why bother? You'd never finish anything. Who do you think you are? This person's better than you. All that stuff.
Mhm.
And let it be like a 3-year-old kid that before they're going to sleep, you know how little kids will like run around like, they're
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden they plop.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Take the steam out of her and just tell me every reason why I shouldn't do this. And then you say, thanks so much for sharing. And then
Okay.
what you get to do, and you can even write this down or play the video back later. I know you are there. I hear what you say, but that is not my truth today. I know you are there. I hear what you say, but that is not my truth today. And then your next exercise is you start to look at those things and you say, she might be saying this, but the truth about me is I am smart. The truth about me is I can do this. The truth about me is, yes, there's fear, but I've gone through fear before. The truth about me is, this is an exercise I do in all my workshops. It's great because when you take the time to get clear on what your truth is, it actually deflates her because what is she going to say? You're saying, well, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But you know what? Right now in this moment, I'm choosing to go ahead with this. Now, here's a little stickler with this. Every time you say that, she can come back with other things. She will even say to you, this exercise is really stupid. And what she's saying doesn't apply to you. She'll do everything
Yeah.
possible to derail you having power. I wrote a song called I'm Taming My Inner Critic. I'm in the recording studio. I've got the headphones on, and she's going, this song sucks. It's stupid. Why are you doing this? And I'm going, shut up. This is about you. It's
Wow.
like the more you can have power over that voice, and I'm not saying you diminish it, I'm not saying
Yeah.
it goes away, but you
Right.
get to choose that voice. You get to say, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to take this one small step towards what I want to do. And I want you to just let me try it. And you just take the smallest micro movement steps towards whatever it is that you're talking about doing. And the more that the fear comes up and the more that the overwhelm and the inner critic and all those devices that you have done before that we all do to stop us from doing anything, it will just be the more you do the smallest step, I call them micro movements, it will, she won't even see you did that and you will start to make progress. But if you say, I'm going to sit down tomorrow and write my novel every day for 3 hours every day, I will guarantee you she will sabotage it. But if you say, I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes and do this new exercise program or write that novel or do, it's like she's busy. You've let her spout off. You can do that little thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It,
So
it does.
what is one small thing you could do this week? You don't even have to tell me if it's something personal, but just look at the smallest thing towards this direction you want to go that you can do.
Okay. Because the other thing, I'll talk myself out of it, or I think that I shouldn't, or
So just as long as you're clear that you're not talking yourself out of it, she's talking you out of it.
okay. Okay. So it is her talking me
Yeah,
out.
that's the thing. The more you can
Okay.
get clear on all the, let
Uh,
me put it this way, the more you can get clear on all those different sabotages, That's when
Oh,
you start to get power. So for example, I'll be even more specific. I
okay.
wish I had 3 hours with all of you. So what I know for myself is that when I'm about to start something new,
Yeah,
I call it the fog. And what happens in fog? You can't see, right? So if you're driving your
right.
car, you have to like pull over because you can't even see anything. How
Yeah.
convenient. So I get overwhelmed, I get confused, I I I just don't think clearly. And when I start to go, "Oh, wake up," and when I do that exercise, I can go, "Why am I so cloudy and why am I on overwhelm and why am I?" And I'll have that little voice come up and go, "Inner critic, you're going towards
Okay.
what you want." Then I can have a moment of clarity of saying, "Oh, she's working me." So I'll take that small step towards what it is that I want to do. But I
Okay.
have to know that every time I get confused and overwhelmed and get foggy, it's usually because I'm going for exactly what it is that I want to do. And that's the kicker. The more you go for what you want and the closer you get to it, the more stuff comes in. So, in other words, instead of thinking you're going to take that inner critic and make sure it goes away and block all those feelings, the more you can dance with it and be
Okay.
like, tell me what you're going to say to me so I can, I can dialogue with you about this and
Okay.
make that move. But I have to know that for myself. I have to know that every time I get confused, it's because I'm going for what I want. The closer I get to any goal I've ever gotten, the more freaked out I get.
Wow.
Every time.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I can see the end goal and get real excited and all that, but then be paralyzed in going
So
from A
I would
to
say, just like we talked about with her
yeah,
finding her man,
yeah,
do an act as if. What is the end goal? Really visualize that end goal because the end goal and all of the qualities and feelings you
yeah.
have about that end goal
Just
are going to be the rope that keeps pulling you out of the muck.
okay.
So it could be that end goal, you write it up, you put a few affirmations around it, you do whatever you need to do that you keep
Yeah,
looking at that end goal. It's kind of like, and it's the same thing with, I know that there's people on this call that got clutter clearing issues. This is one of my favorite topics. It's the same
oh,
thing. If you can visualize that room or that house or the yard
yeah,
or the garage cleaned, that is like your rope
yeah,
that just keeps you moving toward, and
wow,
again, small steps. You keep moving towards that when the stuff comes up going, oh my God, you've done this before, you're never gonna, it's impossible. You keep focusing in on that. Again, it's the tanker ship a mile out. You want to get to that goal. It might have to be that you're doing this to get there, but you're gonna get there. I hope that helped, Mary Jo. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you. It's funny because I am a clutter coach.
Oh,
So
really? Do you
yeah.
know my song Stuff? I have a great song I'll send to you if you want.
Oh, okay.
It's all about stuff. I got too much stuff.
Well, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your bye. Okay.
Okay, we got time for a couple more people, hopefully. Anybody else?
Like Sangita?
Sangeeta.
Hi,
Hi.
love, lovely to meet you. Love your songs, love your the words. I want to know how I can develop total faith and trust.
Say that a sentence again and cut out a little bit.
I would love to know how to develop total trust and faith.
How to live in total trust and faith?
Yes.
Well, honey, if you figure that out, could you tell me? I think that's a great question. I mean, that's a big question. How do you live in trust and faith? And my hit about that, it's a daily practice. It's a moment by moment practice. It's a choice by choice practice because our minds can go to fear or our minds can go to faith. Our minds can go to the mystery and, oh my God, I need to know what's going on. And my mind can go to grace and knowing that everything is fine. So to me, I think what you're really asking is it's just like, how do you have a spiritual practice of just living in that place? And I think that's an individual, each person will do it differently. In my case, how do I live in grace and peace and trust? I write songs about it to remind me. I have altars all around my house that when I'm walking through my house, here's an altar of Ganesh and then Mother Mary. And, I think it's having spiritual practices that bring us into that place of choosing that I'm going to choose trust right now. I mean, again, that's why I love, I could see peace instead of this, because I've been going through that with all the politics we're having, and just feeling crazy about it all. But when I choose that I'm going to have faith that it's going to work out, I can feel that momentary peace. And then maybe the next thought comes up and I have to choose again. I could choose peace instead of this. So, I think it's a very individual practice. It's a big question. I hope that satisfied you.
Mm. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, one more. I think we have one more. Scott, do we have any other? Oh, let me see.
And Nancy, I think you're next.
Nancy.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. I had a couple questions, but actually through some of the people that you were talking to, I got a little bit of answers. But so I'm a personal trainer, and I've been doing the Course in Miracles for like 2 years. And well, my question is, there's certain things I want to do and I have goals, and you were talking about your heart, and I do have that feeling like I'm ready to move on with doing something else besides being a personal fitness trainer. I do still enjoy it, but I have a discontent like you were talking about. And a year and a half ago, I really wanted to take Alan's coaching course, because a lot of my clients, a lot of personal training is about
Oh, yeah, you're.
teaching them anyway. So
It's
yeah,
hard,
it's a lot of personal stuff.
It is.
And I always thought, gosh, I wish I could help them. I wish I could have more knowledge about, directing them. And it's something I really, really want to do. And I'm going to do it. I just, I get frustrated because right now financially I'm not there. But
Okay, wait, stop.
okay.
So
Okay.
right there, when I was
Okay.
talking about what you're saying, financially, I'm not there. It makes it like that's an affirmation. Boom. I can't do it because financially I'm not there. So I'm just pointing that out. It's one of those little things. It's like if you say that, it keeps
And-
being, yes, master, I'll make sure you're financially not ready to take his next class.
Oh gosh, that's what I need. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it is. And it's also, again, like, I mean, I love how all these questions relate to each other. It's also just being open to the manifestation of miracles. That it's like, right, same thing when I was saying to these other people, I would do that act as if letter to yourself. Write a letter that, it's 6 months from now. Do this to yourself or to somebody. Write a letter that you just keep for yourself. Dear me, oh my God, I just took Alan's class, and where I thought I was going to quit being a personal trainer, now my training sessions have become half mental, half mind, half body.
Yeah.
It's all related. I had no idea, and I had no idea how I was going to make the money to do this, but I just manifested this situation where it was paid for, and just be open to what.
I mean, it's so perfect. So I think I have a frustration, like, okay, I get to that point where I visualize it, I feel it, it's going to be there. And then that little voice, and I also want to move to California because I'm a new grandmother and my daughter's there.
What
so
part?
it's all kind of tied, and I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh,
So it's all kind of tied in my little head that money. It all takes money to get all my goals and desires.
okay. So 2 questions.
Yeah.
Because I have to kind of speed it up just because we're almost out of time.
Okay, sure.
2 questions. If you're in Richmond, Virginia, have you ever been to Unity of Bon Air?
Yes, I've been to there one time.
Okay, maybe go again, because it's all about positive thinking, and man, that's a church that my songwriting partner is the music director there. Great music, and so it's a wonderful church. And what part of California are we gonna have you live in?
She's in LA.
What part of
She-
LA?
Yes, close to Santa Monica, like
Okay.
6 miles outside of Santa Monica.
Great, that's where I'm from originally. So here's what I'd like to just plant a seed about is to do the same thing. Write that act as if letter to yourself and just be aware of, I mean, have that be the quality that you center in on daily. Not the logistics, but the feeling of what it, I mean, this is what Alan talks about all the time. You know, it's really, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it comes down to the feeling. It's the quality of what is it going to look like for you to, you know, move to LA and to be a coach and all of, I mean, first of all, you already are a coach. And
Yeah.
also you could really be doing what it is that you want to be doing right now with your people. You know, it's like you could be taking Alan's class and you could be doing what it is that you're doing right now. You know,
That's exactly what I want. Exactly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, I can barely see your little sweet face, and I feel it from your. I can feel the energy of
My
it.
energy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to be doing. So it's like, so if you were to have a magic wand and you took away the money aspect, what would it? How would it change? Okay, Candace, I think I can hear someone else's thing on. Anyway.
Oh, I would have filled his application out. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so
How-
fill it out. First of all, fill it out, send it
I
in.
did fill it out. I didn't send it in because,
You don't have the money yet.
well, I mean, I have the money for the application. I have the money for the down payment, but the rest of it, I don't have that yet. But I have enough to do that. I almost wanted to do that and say, okay, I'm going
So
forward.
may I just plant that seed with you that I've done that with so many things before where it's like I sent it in because the universe is, I mean, again, your magic genie is going, what? Do you want me to help you manifest this? Or what you know, what am I supposed to do? So then he goes back to smoking a cigarette and, you know, waiting for you to figure it
Yeah.
out.
So
If you send it in, if you just go, okay, I don't know how this is going to happen, but my commitment is there.
oh my
send it
gosh, I'm so glad. I almost didn't. I was so nervous to come on.
Well,
this.
because that inner critic is coming in going, oh, you can't really do that. And, you know, you shouldn't do that, whatever.
Somebody was calling, sorry.
Yeah. But I'm saying, yeah, your inner critic was saying, you know, don't do it. You're probably not going to get it and blah, blah, blah. You don't have enough money. Bypass that critic, say, thanks for sharing. But here's what I know. I can manifest this money and it's not about the money. It's about my intention.
It's about my desire. It's like,
Well, I get your desire. Your desire is totally there. So when are you going to send in your application? Tell me a date and time.
I'll send it tomorrow.
By what time?
Okay, by noon.
By noon. It's done. So let me know when you're in the class how it goes. I'd be interested to hear. So you're in it.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah,
Thank you
as
so
it should
much.
be. And that's the goosebumps are God bumps. That's God going, thank
Really?
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're huge.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I've done anything like this, where it's like I've moved that energy, I can literally start to shake. I can get cold and goosebumps. And I just call that God energy running through me going, yes.
You just described what's happening here.
Yeah, it's an
so
affirmation. Yeah, you've just simply moved the energy of what you really want to do, and God and your spirit is going, thank you.
I could cry. I mean, tears of joy.
Well, and you're crying because it's that part of you that's saying, yes, this is what I want to do. That's why I would just when we're done, turn off the thing and cry. Let yourself cry for moving that energy through you.
What a big release. I can't believe it. I wish I could give it to somebody else, you know.
Give it to yourself right now. Give
Yeah.
it to yourself.
Thank
All right,
you so
darling.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
that was it. Oh my God, I had so much fun with y'all. I could do this for 2 more hours. Oh my. All right, Nancy, thank you so much. So,
Thank you so much. I will
welcome. I'll
get
see
in
you.
touch with you too,
Okay.
or email
Okay.
you.
So Scott, thank you so much for
Yeah,
helping
thank
me
you,
out
Karen.
today. It was really fun. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, did we have a few more hands up? We did, and I don't know what to do. I guess I guess we could, I mean, I'm fine to stay on, but Alan said it's just supposed to go for an hour, so I don't know what to do.
And I have to go myself.
Okay, well, I think that's good. I'm sorry
I'm
for the
sorry.
people I didn't get to. I guess that's what happens. I love it. 2 more hours, no big deal. Okay, well, so anyway, y'all, I would love to do this again with you. For the women in our audience today, I am doing some women's retreats coming up the first weekend of October. I'm doing an international one, October 19th. So if you go to my website, all the information's there, karendrucker.com. Same thing with any of my music, you can get it there. And I send out an email every month, a newsletter that has a free song with it. So, feel free to sign up on my email list. But for any of you who are on the fence with anything going on with Alan, I say do it. He's one of the best teachers I know, and he's really influenced me a lot. So anyway, once again, Scott, thank you for helping me out, and I hope I see you all at some point. Maybe I'll be at one of Alan's workshops with you. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.